Tuesday, Iran is considering allowing European nations to clear mines in the Strait of Hormuz to restore safe shipping and advance peace talks with the United States. While Tehran has publicly maintained that foreign nations cannot demine the crucial waterway, private meetings in recent weeks indicate that that stance has softened. For more analysis, we're now joined by our oil and shipping reporter, Weilun soon. Weilun, good morning. The significance of this move and the apparent acceptance of Iran for European nations to come through, just how important is that?
Right up here. So this move is a small step in the right direction. But as with what we have seen for so many months so far about the battle over the control of Strait of Hormuz, that it hinges on a lot of things. So one would be that Tehran and maybe the military forces in Iran would have to come to an agreement that this is the right next step. And then you would have to think about how many European naval forces would actually want to deploy within the Strait of Hormuz. They need some guarantees from Iran that the demining operation can proceed safely. And then we still have the U.S. weighing in. We don't know how acceptable, how open they are to this plan. So there are many different factors to this. But we do all agree that demining within the strait is very crucial for shipping to regain confidence in sailing through the choke point.
And so, Weilun, on the physical movement, are we seeing any movement in the traffic through the Strait of Hormuz? Are we seeing any attacks happening there?
That's a great question. So if you look at ship tracking data, if you look at platforms that rely on open transponder signals, there doesn't seem to be a lot of ships going through the strait as we speak. So this is quite different from what we have reported on and heard of about ships going through the Strait of Hormuz in the dark. And we do know that some of those have received U.S. support in terms of maybe getting coordinates to sail through the Strait of Hormuz on the Oman coastline. And then you also have some form of air support from the U.S. military. So all in all, we do hear of, for example, crude carriers going out. There was just one yesterday carrying Iraqi crude. Just today, we saw another one from the United Arab Emirates. So even though on screens, on computer screens, we don't see ships going through, but in the dark, they have been sailing. And this really relies on a tactic that have built up over the few months of the war, where ships will go through Hormuz, shuttling in the dark with the transponders off.